Welcome to Mommy Issues, a podcast where an ex-reality TV star mom
and her reality TV loving daughter
bridge the gap between their generations through celeb news, all things Bravo,
and their own personal mommy issues.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Mommy Issues.
Of mommy issues, where mommy issues are aplenty.
Oh yeah, mommy issues, mamacita issues, Mother's Day issues. I mean, the list goes on.
The list goes on.
Before we get into it, God, let's start with some highlights and lowlights, shall we? How's your week been? Has it been kind of tainted by this whole housewives thing?
No, not that. It's just I don't still feel well. I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people that have had this flu thing and the whole whatever is out there, that it's like a Klingon virus that when it's like just when you think it's done, it's like, no, I want to come back and hang out for a while longer. So it's like you don't feel as bad. You're not coughing as much, but you feel a little bit off.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't feel bad. I just have a cough that doesn't go away no matter what I do. Every morning I'm like, oh, I'm going to feel better, obviously, because it can't stay forever. It's like, no, I'm actually here to stay. You're my best friend and I love you.
Yeah. No, you know what it is? It's either post-nasal drip if that's tickling the back of your thing, and that's why cough suppressants don't work. So you got to figure out what the source of your cough is.
I don't know. I think it's because I stayed out too late on New Year's Eve, and the next day I was coughing so much. I think it was just because I partied.
Yeah, exactly. We're not used to it. We're not used to it.
Can you point your mic to the ceiling? Remember, it's got to be erect.
God, I can't believe I forgot that.
Well, you were like, well, I'll never forget it now. You forgot it.
Hold on. All right. I think it was that it wasn't really connected.
Oh. Well, it's also because it wasn't erect.
Partially connected. Right.
Okay. Okay. So your low light is that you still feel sick. Any highlights?
No, not really. I mean,
Okay.
I'm glad 2023 is over.
God, me too.
Why does everybody feel that way?
I don't know. I think for me, it was like down to the last, till the last second of the year. It was just
it was stressful. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
So I was like happy for it to be behind me, even though I'm very much not a believer in like, it doesn't even New Year, same shit. Like no one is different. Nothing crazy happens. It's just a day that we've all collectively decided is a new year. So you have to like somehow become better. I don't know. I just feel like
there's something optimistic about it too.
It's optimistic and it's daunting and then it's overwhelming. And
because
then
you just put it down as one more thing I've got to do. It's like, now I've got to be a good person on top of like everything else. Yeah.
Right. Or like change everything about myself. And it's like, no, actually there are things to change.
When you get older, I am telling you, you're not going to care about any of that stuff. It's really funny. It's just funny how that happens.
As I get older, it becomes less and less important. I will say that's really nice about getting older, but I don't know. I still care. I still very much care.
I don't know. Like, you know what? It's a reminder, this whole thing of Housewives and the way the episode went, which, audiences are so smart. They know, like, I didn't have to say anything. They told me. But it just, and you tell me, oh, have you been, consumed by this stuff? And it's like, I really haven't been consumed because we all know, I know how editing works. It is impossible for them to include everything.
Sure.
And it depends on what they want,
the storyline they're trying to push.
They want to perpetuate. That's all it means. And so, going into this, I knew that. I think that because I'm older, like I know that people who know me know that I take a stand. They also know that I admit when I fuck up. I think they also know that I don't spend my life trying to be relevant, because whatever I've wanted to be, I've become, so who I am transcends editing, and it transcends, I'm comfortable saying, you be the judge. And I think that has a lot to do with age. That's why I don't feel like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. But you know, that being said, I think we do owe our listeners the
An
whole story.
explanation. Yeah.
I don't know if
Oh,
it'll be the whole story, but I'll
it
tell
won't
you.
be, but
Right, it won't be.
sure.
Okay. So
But yeah, we'll just skip over my highlights and the lights.
well, we can skip over highlights and lowlights. I
No,
think they're
it's fine.
very
I'm
curious about it.
they should be, first of all,
They
but
should be.
let's just whatever. I can't stop you. So let's just stop Miami and then we'll do the show backwards. Let's get into
Okay.
Bravo bullshit. We'll talk about Miami.
Okay. Well, so, you know, this whole highly anticipated Anna is showing up, you know, I get why they milked that. The reaction was unexpected even for me. So, you know, what you saw is what you saw. What happened while, you know, what ended
You
up
were
on the
there.
cutting room floor, right? Is I walked in, we waited a long time because they had just left. And so the girls were filming in there about the reaction to how they had left. And we waited and waited. Finally, we walked in and we were there for a good hour before they came back. And
Mhm.
during that hour, somebody said to me, I said, I don't understand why they left. I really didn't understand why they left. The fact that my presence might be uncomfortable, might be whatever, you can roll your
Sure.
eyes, you can whatever, that's fine. But to leave, you know,
No,
you're
it's
getting paid
like
per episode. You know, I'm not, whatever it is you're getting paid, I'm not worth that. I would, you know, stay. But anyway, so I was like, I didn't understand. Somebody says, oh, Marisol said that you wanted her dead. And so,
you
and then that
clarify.
your daughter said whatever. And so I clarified that. And then it begs the question, why does your daughter feel so strongly about this? You know, why do you feel so strongly about this? Why are you okay with her saying this? And I, because we've agreed never to discuss that again, I didn't want to say it. And then Nicole, who knows, says to me, Julia knows the story. She heard about it. And so I tell the story, which is why you see that I had been crying. I
That's why
had
you
not,
had an eyelash
I had
falling off your
yeah, I
eye.
had like individuals here and I, you know, I didn't, whatever. It started falling. I tried my best to make it look like I wasn't, but I was crying because it's a very horrible tragedy in our family. And it's impossible to not talk about it without crying, especially when, you know, Marisol says that what happened was my karma. And so, yeah, you tell her to go suck a dick. You tell her she looks like a rotten corpse. You say these things about her, and people would say like,
Mhm.
"Why does Beba care about this like old woman that whatever?" There's a reason.
Well, the answer is also I don't. And like I've never cared or talked about Marisol. If anything, before then, like you guys had a falling out. There are a lot of moments that I was like defending Marisol because I actually thought that she was funny. I think she's well dressed. I
Yeah,
think
she
like
is. All those things.
I never like her stuff with you had nothing to do with me because I don't know enough or care about Marisol to even have an opinion.
Right.
Fact of the matter is that, like you said, she just said something very cruel. And if you say something bad about my sister, is saying something bad about me. So I take it so incredibly personally. And it was so recent after everything had happened that it just, and then we went on that podcast. It was like,
We definitely, but again, stand by everything you say. I stand by what I said. You know, I kind of regret a little saying the thing about Lisa because after that we kind of reconciled and in that part where I was saying about, I think I was talking about how his parents never liked her and that's what the mother probably was thinking. You know what I mean? But I can't fix that. I mean, I said it. I've said mean things. She has said mean things about me. But all in all, I didn't have a problem with Lisa. I went in, I talked to her. She was very, very nice to me, much nicer than, you know, it shows there.
I will say that was hard for me to watch.
Why?
Because it felt, if I'm being honest,
You thought it felt fake?
it was so cringy. It was so cringy, mommy.
Because
Because I
because
think
it wasn't like that.
no, I
You know what
know,
I'm saying?
but I think it was like your intention was good. Like you wanted to be right off the bat, like, hey, I kind of like I'm sorry about everything, and like
Well,
I'm good
for
with
me, it's like,
you.
what woman doesn't feel for a woman that's going through that?
No, I know.
Yeah. So I did, you know, I do feel for her.
But it did like she said something in her testimonial of like she looked nervous, and I think that was true. You seemed like a
I wasn't
little
nervous at all.
awkward
I
saying it. You know what I mean?
you know, the conversation was so much longer than that. And so I get it. I mean, I understand that you feel that way, but I actually meant it because what she's going through is no joke. And so I wanted to tell her that. And she and I never had a big fight. In fact, while we were there, she was like, yeah, because you said something really mean about me once. You said I was hooked on phonics. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Lisa, really?
Because
Like,
you are.
but
But she's
that's not the point. Like,
No, I know.
this is Housewives. You say something, you know what I mean?
Totally.
So yeah. So after that whole thing where I had to discuss what I didn't want to discuss, they asked me, why did you come?
Mhm.
There was never a moment when I showed up there to drop a bomb about Alexia's finances. Now, can you imagine me doing that?
No.
Well, I'm here to discuss. Let me give you a pie chart. You know, in what world would I do that? In none. So I went for a very important reason. No matter how many times I apologize for what I said about Lisa's son at the reunion many
Leah's
years
son.
ago. Huh? Leah's son.
Leah's son.
What did I say?
Lisa's.
Oh, no, Leah's son. At the reunion, it doesn't matter. There are many
It
people.
follows you.
It follows me on comments to this day. It's like, oh, that woman, what she said. And I agree. I think what I said was wrong. So I thought the best way to get this point across is on the same forum in which I said the thing that I regret originally.
Sure.
So I went and I told them my reason for being here is that
They
I
cut it
wanted
out.
this opportunity, whatever, of course, because it's not interesting. You
And
know,
it also didn't have to do with anything that was
it didn't
going
have to
on.
do with
The
anything. It didn't.
reality is that Marisol and Alexia left, and then the drama became about
Right.
that.
Right. So
And then it
th-
shifted into Nicole and Alexia.
Right, it shifted to that. But I will tell you, when they finally walked in, they only show my short conversation with Marisol about, or when she said, "Oh, I didn't recognize her. I haven't seen her in 11 years or something like that." So at one point that conversation continued, and she goes, "I don't even know. I haven't talked to you in 10 years." I'm like, "Really?" So during the Real Housewives auction during COVID, we didn't spend hours on the phone, hours, because you told me you had nothing but time and wanted to tell me the whole story about the Novikov boyfriend and how tragic it was and everything else. So that happened, and she had to stay quiet. And I decided to remind her about things of that conversation. So I told her, "Don't you remember when you told me that you had a Finsta, a fake Insta account so that you can watch any stories of Leah without Leah, things
Yeah,
like that."
yeah.
And I said, "And because you wanted some kind of anecdote in order to be able to tell me that you're best friends with Luann and hangs out with Luann at her Hamptons house, you have to tell me, and really horrible friend you are, to tell me that you had a horrible situation there, that you went to sleep, that she was so drunk that when she either woke up in the morning or in the middle of the night, didn't know who you were, you had to talk her down from the ledge, and that, like, literally, that Luann was incoherent because of, I assume, drinking, and was asking her to leave her house." Now, I'm not the only person she said this to. So if Alexia listens to it, she knows the story. And if Luann listens to this, she knows that it happened. No matter how many
The
times.
point is,
But, like,
you have spoken to her. Like,
uh-huh,
it's just another
many times. And so
Marisol lie.
Marisol lies. So what happens? I'm like, you guys aren't going to air that either. And it's like, no, because cross franchise stuff, the network frowns on it, just like the situation, which I'm glad they didn't actually air the part about our family tragedy, but they said it was too dark for Bravo.
Yeah.
Too dark. And I agree, that's too dark. But
I'm
they could've-
glad they didn't show that.
Oh, me too. Me too. I am very glad. So all in all, it's like, look, all I can see is somebody sitting there very calm when these women with their lips and their stuff are going like, whatever. And I'm just like, whatever. But I didn't leave 5 minutes later. I was there for a good hour and 45 minutes more, for sure, if you count from the time they picked me up and everything else. There was a lot of conversation that didn't make it on. And so why are they afraid of me? I do know a lot of things. Yes, I could have gone there and unpacked a giant Louis Vuitton trunk of information. Did I want to do that at that moment? No. Do I really want to do it in general? Probably
No.
not. Do I
No.
reserve the right to use it one day if I feel like it? Yes.
Not in
Yes.
this capacity. Like I am so honestly watching the episode, I was like, I am so glad you're not on this show anymore because number one, you like don't fit in the best way possible.
No, I know at all. I don't even look.
You stick out like a sore thumb in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And I was just like seeing you there was like, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. You don't
You have
want
no
to
idea
you don't
how
want to be involved in the shit. Like you were sitting, what they showed was you sitting there quietly, which I know is not what happened, that you were talking to everybody, but I just mean in
but not like
regards,
they talk to each
but in
other.
regards to like Alexi and Nicole freaking out, like Nicole even defending you, which was really, I thought that was great. But like you didn't insert yourself in the way that I think these women do a lot of times when there is a fight where you're just like,
What am I going to say? Why would I insert myself in that screaming match, which was mostly Alexia screaming? Can't get a word in edgewise unless she's screaming. I got to tell you that I was looking at everything online yesterday, which is a terrible thing to do, but I was, and I can't. The vitriol against Alexia is. I did
well,
not expect that.
Yeah, people were really, really pissed about her saying that thing about Nicole's mom.
And they found it very hypocritical because you
it's also
cannot.
like it's also just so silly and like not rooted in reality, but
Yeah.
which is like typical Alexia shit. But I was just like, at the end of the day, this episode was about Gertie's surgery. Like I was like, so obviously same thing that happened last time, like my heart beating out of my chest, like watching you and whatever. And then by the time we got to Gertie's surgery, I was like bawling my eyes out that I forgot about everything.
Oh, right. And I think that happened to a lot of people. I
Yeah,
think that
which
happened to a lot of people.
rightfully so. That's what the episode is really about. But like, it's important to fill in the gaps that they omitted from the show. That
And I'd have
involve
to
you.
watch it again, but there's a lot of gaps that were omitted. But like Julia was really triggered by the story, and she went up to Marisol with a chair and she's bouncing the chair, hitting the chair. It's like, why did you say that? Why did you say it? Screaming at her. And I thought, they can't leave that out. It's too good, but they left it out again because so that was a long conversation, and she was recriminated a lot by people. It's just that, what you see is just her attacking. My friend was saying, she goes, Marisol's defense is a good offense. She's a devil. She's whatever. Somebody actually asked, oh my God, is she violent? That's how bad it got, to the point
like,
where
are you violent?
right. Right. It's like the reaction was so dramatic that people thought there had to be more to the story than just like, oh, she said something bad about me once.
It was so, I mean, like screaming by the car, Alexia, I want to leave now. I was like, what the hell is going on? It really is just, everything is just so dramatic. Like it just seems like such an over exaggeration of your appearance on the show. It didn't have to be that way.
And the funny thing is that you know, shortly after that, I got a long text from Alexia. I sent it to you, and I think she was trying to get me to film at least on a phone call or on a FaceTime or whatever, and I ignored it completely and now I'm glad I did.
Wait, Alexia called you after that brunch?
Yeah.
Saying what?
I sent you the text message. It was like a long text message. It was a text message that was edited 50 times before it was sent to me. It's like,
No way.
Marisol said, like that. My problem with Marisol, I think it was like, my problem with Marisol is my problem with Marisol. And that, Adriana was saying all this stuff, but that she knows I would never say that stuff. And that, but then on the show, you hear her saying, oh, she's vicious. She doesn't have any friends. Everybody hates her. It's like, and so now you think I'm right. So now you think I'm above talking about your finances. I'm not above talking about or speculating about your finances. I just don't care enough to speculate about your finances. So, whatever. Again, there's just so many little nuances. And the thing is that this storyline just doesn't seem to end, because now they don't invite Nicole to something, and they don't invite her because Nicole invited me. So
yeah,
we're going to continue seeing this Mamacita brunch gate for a while longer.
What else was there in this episode?
How do you feel? I need to ask you how you felt about the episode
Everything?
opening up with you saying,
Marisol can suck a dick.
yeah,
Honestly, my proudest moment. I would no, low key, I was like, my initial reaction after watching the whole episode was like, I want out of this. Like, I don't ever want to be on Bravo ever again for being a part of any drama. This is so stupid. Like, I hate that I was involved, to be honest. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because I hate that I was like, that I'm a part of this in any way, because I'm like, I don't want to be associated with you people for real. Like, and I don't even mean that in like a, I'm better than you. I just mean like, this is not for me. It's never been for me. I'm not interested in it. I have come to a point recently where I like barely watch Housewives. I watch
Yeah.
Beverly Hills and I watch Miami because you were on Miami and people come here to listen to you talk about Miami. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've gotten to a point where I'm pretty much done with Housewives.
Yeah.
I don't watch Salt Lake City, whatever. I don't watch a lot of it
Something
anymore.
really big happened with Salt Lake City, though. So we
I
need to catch up
know.
and
Well,
discuss.
so I had so many people reach out to me yesterday saying with like tweets and all this stuff. And so I watched it last night. And even then I was like, yeah, sure, this is a big episode. And like somebody was exposed for like being a troll, but like I really don't care. And I don't think it's that big of a deal. I really
Yeah.
don't. I'm just like kind of over it. So my initial reaction was like, I want out. I want to treat Marisol and Alexia the way we treat Kanye on this show. We don't talk about him. Like that's literally how I want it to be moving forward. I know it's not really possible, but whatever. That's how I feel.
They're bound to do such funny, cringy things that were,
Sure, but
you
like
know.
I'm happy to talk about them in a very like removed way. I don't want to. I'm not gonna name call anybody anymore. I'm not, so I can possibly be included in some sort of scene. I don't want to do any of that. Okay. I can't. I hate that I was involved.
You feel dirty.
I feel
It's
dirty.
like a one night stand.
It's worse. I've had better one night stands. So I'm done.
Never had a one
I'm
night stand.
done with all of that. But I was telling John Liam,
You know, when she says something, she sticks to it, people. So I wouldn't make any bets.
When I watched the episode, like right out the gate, I said like Marisol can suck a dick. And I told John Liam, I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. He's like, that's the funniest thing in the world. He's like, you now can like have that as a meme forever. And I was like,
Let's
okay,
make no,
perspective. I like it.
I'm sure that in fact,
I'm
honestly,
going to
that's the
generate it
greatest meme.
myself, and then
You
I'm going
generate
to
the
use
meme
it
yourself. Yeah,
with all my
because the truth is,
friends.
and it works because like Marisol is like a name of like you know, I don't think so, Jerome kind of thing. It's like you could suck a dick. Marisol can suck a dick. Marisol could be anything. It's like a Karen. It's a Latina Karen.
Yeah, Marisol
You
can
know?
suck a dick. So that
Yeah.
I will say that was my proudest moment. But I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't. I hate it. 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 That's how I feel. I hate it. But it is what it is. Listen, it's like I said last episode. Like I'm trying to have perspective on it, and it's like it's so silly, and it's truly no one's going to talk about it after a couple weeks, and it's fine. Like, and again, the episode,
you know, the way that I see, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Good
the
number two.
episode was really about Gertie. That's really how I feel, and I mean that from like I'm not trying to deflect or like take away.
No, it's
from
not
your
deflecting, but there's
appearance.
no comparison.
There's no comparison. And like the feeling that I had watching that scene of her going to her surgery and all this stuff, it just trumped everything. It's like, no, yeah, this is like, this is a real story about someone's real life going through a really hard thing, not some like elusive, who knows what Anna holds the secrets to and Marisol fighting. Silly.
Yeah.
In comparison, you know? So I don't know. That's how I feel.
One of the wisest things you've ever said.
I've said
so
wiser
proud.
things.
No, I
No.
think that's definitely one of the wisest things you've ever said.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
What else did I write here? The Alexia and Nicole fight we talked about that. Julia fighting with Lisa about Lisa's kids. Why couldn't Julia just admit that she was wrong? That was crazy.
Well, I thought what was really wrong was when Alexia said, did they say, mommy, stay with me? Don't leave. It's like, Do you know how many times I just think Alexia's kids never even said that anymore because they knew it was a
Yeah,
waste
the
of
guilt of like all moms experience that guilt. It doesn't
right.
matter. It was so it is questioning her parenting, and that I
It
mean,
is questioning her parenting. That's not okay.
and honestly, I said something on the podcast recently about her kids, and I'm taking it back. I
About whose
said
kids?
about Lisa, not her kids. I just said I hated the fact that she was talking about how Lenny was trying to take her kids 100% in front of her kids. And I was like, oof, I don't love that, but whatever. I take everything back. I think it's true. We shouldn't talk about the kids. No
I
kids.
no, I agree. I agree with that. But I also, I'm telling you, that's why I said last week when we spoke about it, regardless of what Lisa thinks of me or, du jour, because it has changed dramatically. Um, just what she's going through, you cannot judge it unless you're going through it. It's like literally somebody that
Right.
doesn't know was living this way and now doesn't know if she's going to be homeless. You know what I mean? For the most part, he's got to
Well,
provide for the kids, but anything can happen. He
yeah.
could get, if he gets full custody of the kids, he's going to just give her some token alimony and then she's screwed. And so I understand how she, I think I can understand how she must feel. So she's not thinking, are the
I need
kids
you to
right there?
go. Here. Just give me her and make her a bottle of milk. Maybe that'll like she's been, I mean, look at this crying face.
Why were you crying like that?
Are you crying because of the gardeners? You hate the
Those mean
gardeners?
gardeners.
Are you okay? She's just so tired and she's like, I'm just trying to sleep, man. Are you
Lola,
happy?
say happy.
Can you say happy?
Say happy.
Say happy. Happy. No, she's tired.
Yeah, she's tired.
She's really tired. How cute is she?
I cannot.
Look at her.
Not.
It's overwhelming. Are you the sweetest little girl in the world? She's like a real person now.
Are
She
you a person,
communicates.
Lola? She doesn't hear me.
No, she doesn't hear you.
How soon can I just go over there, pick her up, and bring her here for like 2 weeks?
In like 3 years.
What?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
not
I would take her to
happening.
Kathy's. I mean, I would take her over there. So
Yeah.
she could cousins or whatever. That's my
Um,
plan.
maybe when she's like 4.
I think 3. She's very
Let me tell you
advanced.
something. Let me tell you something. I remember when I was like trying to find the lesson in the whole like holiday plans getting ruined. I found the lesson.
Oh God.
It's not a lesson. It's more of like a blessing. We went to Ojai for the night, for one night, a little over 24 hours.
Oh my
Okay.
God, what happened with the other girlfriend?
Nothing. It was totally fine. She had a great time. Again, it was just one night, so it's not a big deal. But when we came back, she saw us, started hysterically crying, came up to me and held me so tightly, which felt so good. Oh my God, there's fireworks behind me.
What is happening,
I don't
Beba?
know. I don't know.
But think about when you said it and when it's coming up.
I think it's when you do 2 thumbs up. Yeah, this is wild. Mommy, why do you do a thumbs up like that? You
It's
you
not
have
working
to,
for me.
because you have to update your iOS. Okay, listen to me. She held me so tightly for, I would say, 12 to 15 minutes. Crying would not stop. Usually, if you put her tete in her mouth, she'll calm down. It's like her self-soothing thing.
It would have been too long.
It would have been, it would have been so bad. It would have been so bad. And that's that like,
I would have gotten in the car and driven to where you were.
to Idaho. Yeah. No, I think it would have been too long. And then when his parents left, and we probably got home around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, she punished us. She
Oh, yeah.
was a terror.
What did she do?
And she was just like her constant everyday sound was just ah, like screaming. And
Because
we
she
were
was
just like,
recalling when you abandoned her.
I think she was just like so mad. And then when we woke up the next day and she saw us, she was just like, hi. Like, I think she was just like, okay, now everything's good. If we went for 5 days, it would have been the end of the world. The end of the world. So I'm saying I'm grateful that we didn't do that. I think we have to build up to 5
Yeah,
days.
well,
I
yeah,
think
like
next
from
is 2, after that will be
I
3
agree with that.
days.
I
5
agree.
days
5 off the I
would have been
figured she
crazy.
would have a really hard time and that I would just have to really um distract her.
Yeah.
But I knew you would get it when you got home. I knew that.
Oof, but one day, man, I was like, girl. Also, the worst thing, I'm not even gonna say this because I feel too ashamed about it. So I'm not gonna say it.
Say it, say it, say it. Since when do you not say something?
Lola is in a constant state of constipation for the
Oh
most
yeah.
part. So her doctor has recommended that we give her Miralax every couple of days just to kind of keep her regular so nothing builds up big enough where it's really, really hard for her to push something out. So we've been doing that. It's been working great. You know, we give her the recommended amount, blah, 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 whatever. She had been regular. I had stopped giving it to her for like 3 days. The day that we left to Ojai, in the morning, I put some in her bottle like I usually do. Cause I was like, I just want to make sure that she's not constipated with them because we're already not going to be there. I don't want to add on another thing. She pooped like 5 times that day. It was like, I basically poisoned her. Not poisoned her. I just gave her laxatives. It was
Well,
crazy.
I mean,
I felt so bad. I felt
I
so,
think you
so
should leave
bad.
it consistent, a very little amount consistently until she
Yeah.
outgrows this. When she gets bigger and her intestines aren't as coiled up.
She's getting better. She's getting, people are like, I don't want to hear about your daughter's bowels, but whatever.
Well, you
She's
might have
getting
to cut
better.
some of this out.
I'm gonna have to cut a lot of this out. Um, anyways, that actually, I'm just gonna get into my highs and lows because it actually goes into
Oh,
my highs and
yes.
lows. My low, even though we went away for a night and it was like technically supposed to be this like restorative, nice, like responsible or no responsibility trip, Ojai is not for me. In fact, I have now renamed
Are
it.
there bugs?
No, I've renamed it Cry because of how much I cried on that trip.
Because you missed Lola.
No, I didn't miss Lola. I didn't miss Lola, but I didn't miss Lola enough to be like, I gotta go home. It wasn't that. Ojai is an energy vortex. Like, because of the way that the mountains are oriented, it's east and west as opposed to north and south. So it literally is just like this valley. And it's like, it makes for great stuff. Like they have this at every sunset, they call it a pink moment because it's always a pink. It's like the craziest sunsets. It's pink skies, like whatever. It's really intense. They say like Ojai will either chew you up and spit you out or it'll embrace you. It chews me up and spits me out. I've been there twice in my life since I've lived here for almost 10 years. And the last time I was there, did not stop crying at all. And I didn't know why. It wasn't rooted in anything real. It was just like all of a sudden super emotional. And then I start like questioning everything about my life. And I'm like, what's going on? Whatever. Same thing
That
happened
was the time before this.
the time before this, which I was much younger. I was probably like 24. And the same thing happened this trip. I cried the whole time. I was a miserable piece of shit. Poor John Lee. It was like, he was like, what is going on? What is going on? I didn't stop
That
crying.
is crazy that
And
you're
then
so sensitive to that.
I kind of came out of it because I did shrooms and we got in the hot tub and we were by the fire pit and it was like really nice and we are looking up at the stars. And then once that faded, back to crying. It was so bad. Even at breakfast, I like woke up the next morning and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have a good day. Like we only have a couple more hours before we have to go back home. And I was like on a mission to kind of like turn the day around. At breakfast, happy. We're doing the mini crossword puzzle, New York Times. We're doing connections. We're doing Wordle. Food comes. I start crying.
When have you ever cried at the appearance of food?
I know that's when I knew it was bad. That's when I was like, there's something up with this place. This is not me anymore. Yeah. So no more Ojai for me. Honestly, it's Palm Springs or bust. Like I was so upset about it too, but honestly, maybe I just needed to cry. Maybe I needed the release,
Yeah.
but I didn't,
But I
I
mean,
didn't want the one night away from Lola to be filled with just crying. I could do that on like a girls retreat, but my God, it was
do you
just
do
such a
that on
bummer. On a girl, I
do you
mean,
do that
I don't
on girls'
know.
retreats?
I feel like a girls trip is like, you're due for some crying. All of us have to like connect in a way.
And does that happen when you've done Big Bear with your Carrollton friends and stuff?
No, I don't think we cried, but we have our trip coming up in March. We're going to
And
North.
that's going to be a deep conversation. Where are
Oh,
you going?
we're going to 2 hours north of North Carolina. I don't know.
Okay.
It'll be fun. Okay. And then my high was just that we climbed the charts. Mommy Issues climbed the charts.
Oh, I know. This is so fun. Like, that's so crazy.
It was number 11 the day after that episode of Miami dropped. And then it's now back down to like 31, but still like top 50.
That's respectable.
It is respectable. So that was major.
I think that's good. You
It
know
was
what? I've gotten
fun.
a lot of positive feedback from people that I'm like, I always been meaning to listen to it and I hadn't taken the time to listen to it. And now they've just binged a lot of episodes. So that's nice, if people discover that, it fits for them,
Totally.
that maybe on Monday they want to hear these two crazy people talk about
Yeah.
random stuff.
And I will say to anybody who is new, the format of this show, especially God today, we're all over the place, but the format of the show is not always like we talk more celebrity news and we do talk about celebrity or probable.
We talk celebrity news, but we also talk about it almost seems like everything we talk about is a backdrop to other things, issues that either come up for us or opinions about different things that I think people find interesting.
Totally.
Because it causes them to, people my age and people we think differently. We think differently.
Yeah, we do.
And not only that, I really think it's gotten to the point where people your age think that it's been enough time where now we can do basic things like pronouns and not saying anything microaggressive racially and all that stuff. Like, okay, you've had enough time, no more learning curve. Get with it. I've noticed that because before there was a little bit of a
there's wiggle room.
They've never said that. They've never, they grew up in a completely different place. But now it's like, okay, it's been enough time. Get with the program. Get with the program because it's not okay anymore. And
not okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of very little tolerance for it. Which you saw Beverly Hills. I just out of curiosity, what did you think about that with Garcelle? Like, it took me a second to understand. Like, I know that the words don't mean the same. And I get that. I so get that. But
yeah, but
I didn't know which were the words. I only knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, the words that mean more or less the same thing is bad.
Let me tell you what I actually think. I think Garcelle saying the word attack triggered her is fair. But
right.
I even think the editors were protecting Dorit because Dorit is not ill-intentioned at all. And I think that she's just, as we all know, living in her own world. She's in Dorit land.
And so she talks a lot. So
and when she was saying attack, the editors put together a whole package of all of the ladies saying, I feel like you attacked me. I feel like this is an attack. That's all she was doing. Garcelle does not like Dorit, period, point blank. So she is using anything she can. She's finding things to make sure that she has a reason to be like, I don't fuck with you. That's what happened. So she took a word that triggered her in any other context, in any other world. If somebody was like, whoa, you're attacking me. Whoa, you're screaming at me. Wow, you're really angry at me. That's all. Those are microaggressions. And they do have different connotations when you're talking to somebody who's Black. Yeah. But that's not what Dorit was doing.
I don't think that's what she was doing either.
At all. She was stirring the pot everywhere at that Taco Tuesday night.
So
everywhere.
Are you saying that Garcelle is overreacting?
I think she's overreacting. And I know that that's like tricky to say because I know that
it is tricky to say.
But I think even when the editors are putting together something to be like, this is the reality of what's going on. Even Garcelle said, Dorit pushes my buttons. She like, whatever. She does.
And Dorit is right when she says, if she doesn't like me, why not just say it? She just doesn't like, you know what I mean? Like, it looks like she's always looking for something to pick on her.
For sure. I just think it's also really dangerous to be pinning somebody out to be racist when I don't think that Dorit is actually racist. I genuinely don't think that. I think in 2020, that clip of her saying like, oh, the people who work for me are people of color. And Garcelle was like, oh, so only the people who work for you? She's like, no, my mom's friend is Black. And it's like,
I know, it's just
that's wrong. And that's like, she's so aloof.
But let's think back to when that was though. That was a long, long time ago. I think that in a short period of time, we have been more educated by everything that's happening. I honestly watch Gilmore Girls.
I
They say
think,
words that you would never say today. Never.
oh no,
Like
yeah.
they regularly use the word retarded.
Yeah.
Regularly.
Well,
I mean,
2020 wasn't that long ago, and it was in the height of the Black
the
Lives Matter
George Floyd,
movement, and
and I get that. Yeah.
there was a lot going on, but I think you're right that we all at least
Education came later.
we have an awareness now of how different words pointed to different people mean different things. So
I mean,
I think that Dorit, maybe whether she had the awareness or not, I don't know. I just there's something about it that just feels like Garcelle is trying to find something to be mad at Dorit for. That's what it feels like. And I think, again, attack, angry, all of those things directed towards Garcelle mean different things. That
aggressive.
is true. Yes, that is true. I don't think that Dorit was doing that. Those are two different things to me. So that's how I feel about it. And I
Yeah.
like Garcelle.
I
I
like
just think
Garcelle a
that
lot, too.
she just doesn't fuck with Dorit. And I get it. Dorit's kind of annoying. How can you not fuck with Dorit, but you can fuck with Sutton? Make that make sense. By the way, that guy that Sutton went out with was very cute.
He was like an actor. Sorry.
Very handsome. No, I
Yeah,
think
but
he was an actor.
oh, okay.
I think he is
But
an
I
actor.
think I am positive she's not dating him today.
Oh, you mean like they hired him for the date?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my
He
God.
was he was like, all he needed
Too
was
into
like
it.
the thing to go like his teeth when he smiled. It was right out of central casting for the ideal date in your 50s. Come
That
on.
was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's so weird.
She is so weird.
And
She is
wearing
so, but I kind of love that she's so weird. I love her weirdness. I like Beverly Hills a lot, and I get it. You
too.
know, I was watching yesterday, and I made Karen watch, and so he was watching the end of Beverly Hills. He goes, but these women, they're more like, if they're casual, they're casual. Like they're sitting in their house and they're wearing like a sweatshirt, whatever. He goes, on Miami,
Oh no,
ev-
it's like Fendi.
it's
It's crazy.
you have to hang around the house and like see through, like,
Yeah.
and full hair and makeup. And it's like, I think there's something to be said about that, but Beverly Hills
I love
it
Beverly
has
Hills.
great moments. Like the moment with Kim and Kyle
Oh,
was very touching to
Kim
me.
is such in a good place in her life. You can tell that she's really worked on herself
She
and
really
she's
has.
really come into her own. I love Kim. And Kyle, I honestly have never felt more connected to Kyle than that scene of her being like, Kyle is really sensitive.
And she's the
I am
baby too
as
of the family.
Yeah, I'm as sensitive as Kyle is, and you can tell that she's just taken a beating when she was growing up from her sisters, from her mom, from everybody. She's really affected by, like she said, the chaos or screaming and somebody speaking down to her and all this stuff. I can't even not even a word can be said to me in the wrong tone without me bursting into tears. Like I can't handle it. I've done it my whole life and I'm like I'm too grown up to be like spoken to in any way
Right,
that's not
right,
like gentle. You know what I mean?
right. But when you see Kathy plays a good, she plays a good game, but whenever there is a glimpse into her core,
It's scary.
she's harsh.
No,
She
she's
is
scary.
she is scary, and she has this like real superiority thing because she was the older sister. She was the sister that got married into a Hilton family, and she always had the lifestyle. And without question, when Mauricio, who worked for Rick Hilton, went off on his own and became as successful as he's become,
They ruined everything.
Kathy did not like that. She did not like that because even though Kyle and Mauricio don't have Hilton money, they have a plane, they have all the things
They got
that
money.
they need to have.
And they're still getting that money. But yeah,
Exactly.
I understand where Kyle's coming from being like, what if I don't want that relationship anymore? Because she knows that she can't change her sister.
She can't change her, and now she's
Set in her
Kyle.
ways, Kathy.
There's two things that are like happening at the same time, and they're not mutually exclusive with this whole Kyle thing. Oh, Kyle left Mauricio for a woman and whatever, and she left for a woman. That's why she's looking good, and it's not. She got to a point in her life in her mid-50s or whatever, which is a very normal thing to do, where she's thinking self-care, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to take care of my body. I don't like who I am when I drink. All those things are real
Oh,
about
for
her story.
sure.
And it just so happens then in that process, right? You start from the outside in, you start seeing my relationship with Mauricio isn't really what I wanted. And I feel this when I feel that. And guess what, Kathy? You don't get to treat me the way you've treated me for 50
Right.
years. I can't do that anymore because essentially I'm a different person inside and I can't, you know?
Yeah.
And so I kudos to her for all that work. But like whoever thinks it's a lie that she just took some Ozempic and lost
No,
weight and then fell in love with a woman, that is not, if you think that's the story, you need to look closer. You need to look a lot closer.
I
There's a lot
agree.
of work there.
I
She's done a
agree.
lot of work.
I think she was just fed up with the way that things were going in her life. And at the end of the day, Kyle is a control freak. And what better way to control than to just control yourself, which
You're
is
right.
if you're a control freak, channel it to yourself because you
Yeah.
can't control
Control
everybody
anybody
else.
else. Right.
You can
Right.
control yourself, then you're good. Then you're like, you can self regulate, you can regulate your nervous system. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, that's a positive thing. And that's what she's doing. I
Yeah.
agree. I really was like into Kyle this episode.
Yeah.
I felt for her.
I think it gets to a point in your life. I think honestly, and I think you've discovered this stuff as a younger person, but these things like matter, and I think your perspective changes. I was looking yesterday, you know, you know, what's your life going to be in 2024? The first words that you see,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was health, self care, purpose, and something else, but all in like self development and self improvement stuff. And that's where my head is at. And you know, I know that your head is there too, but I think that just happened to you, just your circumstances, living in LA, living by yourself so far away. You had to deal with a lot, you know. But I
I
think that
think, yeah, I think the mental health and like self preservation is what I would call it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think I've been doing that for a long time because of, yeah, I just, I, whatever. I was going to say, I went through the ringer, but I didn't, relatively speaking. I just like, I feel like there was a lot that happened early on in my life and I felt so out of control that like the only way to gain it back was to focus on myself.
And right, and discover why things, you know, also discover why things have happened. You know, every time they
Oh my
show
gosh. Yeah.
Nicole's therapist, I like want to see her. That girl
You
seems like the
should.
most together person in the world.
You should see
Like
her.
she seems very wise.
Yeah. And like, even, yeah, it's all about just like, if you figure out why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, that
That's
changes
it.
everything.
It changes everything. It does.
Like
I
Kim
I've
talking
known.
about how angry she was with her mom and then she like that she held on to anger for so long and she didn't even know it. It's like you have to just like tap in for a second and be like, why am I angry?
Yeah.
Why am I angry? And then that's when like you can heal. Like the
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness starts coming in and you're like, oh yeah, my mom gave up her whole life for us three.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I forgive her then. It's like you have to like, but the only way you do that is to
I
sit
think.
with the like shitty feeling. You
Yeah.
have to
But
sit with the anger.
I think with mothers and daughters, well, I only know because I'm a woman, and so I only experience those feelings. But I think that the relationships with mothers and daughters are so tricky, but
Really?
if everyone is self-aware, I think as you get older, it only improves because for the first time, your children see you as children, as young adults, as a young mother, as to what was your life like? Because hey, this isn't easy, and you had
Oh
this
my
and you had
gosh.
that,
Yeah.
and that I think it's a great gift. I think that because mother-daughter relationships are so, you know,
Hard.
they're not great at some, there are entire groups of years, you know what I mean? 2, 3 years where it's awful and
They're
then it gets
bad.
better and it's awful and so I think this is the great gift that later on in life, you kind of just really see like, wow, you know, I, you may not have done this right, but I get it because I'm making a lot of mistakes too, and I'm doing my
Totally.
best and all that. And I love that.
I
I
think
think that's
that's
a great thing.
why when you have kids of your own and you start seeing like how hard it is and the sacrifices and stuff, it could be really healing for a mother-daughter relationship
I
to
think so. Yeah.
because if you have never done the work before, that you're forced into work. into like your
Yeah.
own shit because you're like, oh, whoa, I can't even imagine how my mom did this. And she had two and she was younger and she didn't know what the hell was going on either.
Right. Right.
The secret of parenthood is no one knows what the hell
Nobody
is
knows
going
what
on
they're doing.
ever.
Yeah.
When they're like, there's no parent handbook, there's literally no parent handbook. You
I
like
mean, there's a
one
lot of
day,
shit you can buy, but they all say different things. And every little person that you make is a human and individual and has their own
right?
things. Like Lola is so interesting to me compared to other kids her same age. She's kind of you know, have you noticed there's a seriousness about Lola that even though she smiles and stuff, there's something that seems deeper about her,
Yeah,
right?
'cause she's
You
me.
you don't see it? No, there is something. She isn't easily amused by
No,
stupid things. You really have to bring it for her to even
she's
crack a
just
smile.
smart. She's the
She's
smartest
really
girl in the
smart.
world.
Yeah.
She knows. She knows what's going on.
I think that she knows shit. It's all that
She
like
does.
I look she looks at me and it's like I'm not fooling her.
Yeah.
She knows exactly who I am. She knows exactly what I give. She knows she has me wrapped around her little finger. Let's not pretend you're mad. Let's not pretend anything. You know, just
Yeah.
don't waste my time, lady.
Don't waste my time.
Yeah.
Is right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She's an angel from heaven. I don't know what to tell you.
She
She's
is.
an angel from heaven.
So, all right, we've gone for a long time, but
Yeah, we're
I
done.
have a quiz.
Oh, hit
Yeah.
me.
What's a haiku?
Oh, I know a haiku.
I know you do, but
It's
ahead.
a poem that is 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Syllables? No. Syllables?
Words, yeah. I know it's a Japanese form of poetry that the stanzas
The
have to be
stanzas,
numbered a
yeah.
certain way. We were laughing because I was telling Nicole, you know, they should be grateful that you expanded their vocabulary because how many people in that group had to look that up? Who had to look that up?
I don't know. Lisa.
Not, I'll tell you who didn't. Adriana, maybe Marisol didn't have to look it up. Everyone else had to look it up. Everyone else had to look it up. Think about it.
Should we do a haiku about mommy issues?
Go ahead.
Mommy issues is great. You should listen to it now. Leave us a review.
Yay. Awesome. Congratulations. I'm
Thank
so
you
proud of you.
so much. Thank you so much.
I want to thank people for their reviews because we got a few more reviews
God.
recently, and it's so nice. That honestly, the reviews mean so much because it's kind of tricky how to do it. We need to post like how you do it, like a little video, because I'm sure people would do it, but they start looking for it and it's hard.
Yeah.
So yes, the reviews mean
Yeah. Thank you
a
for
lot.
the reviews.
It
I will
really
say
means a lot.
from last night's episode, I've gotten 2 comments on my personal Instagram from some haters. One of them posted a comment on I think it was my last grid post, which I think was Lola on Halloween. And it said like UGLY, your family is so ugly, just like your mom. And I deleted it because I'm like, cool, very nice. And then I got another comment this morning that said, you look inbred.
Beba.
You look
Listen, no,
inbred? I'm like, I've never heard that before, but
here's
like,
the thing. Here's the thing. And you know, sometimes things happen for a reason. Everything happened for a reason. So I think the fact that you got that comment really kind of compels me to tell you
No.
that you
Your
are
dad is
the
my
love
brother.
child of me and my first cousin.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that is
I would believe
hilarious.
it if I didn't look so much like daddy. So
Inbred.
yeah, guys, keep the hateful comments coming. I kind of like low-key love them because you know, gotta keep me humble.
That's like the person that created an account called instead of Anna Cooks, it's Anal Cooks. And I report all fake accounts, but not that one because I love it.
I recently looked at I never look at the people who are looking at my Instagram stories. That was part of my
no, me neither.
2020 Instagram healing. That I was like, if I post something, it's not for who's looking at it. It's like for me.
But
But
how do you go to like so many people?
what do you mean so many people? You think like I have 1 million followers? No.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's
I
true.
recently saw, I hope this person is listening because I'm going to call you out right now. I recently saw a Instagram handle called How Do You Use This? And it's just a blue circle, like as the image, no posts, private, only following people.
Yeah, that's the only
That's
people
a
that put negative,
Finsta.
huh?
And I'm like,
Of
it's a
course,
Finsta.
everybody
And I'm
that
like,
says
who
mean
is
things,
this? Who is
every
this?
single
No,
person that
no.
says something mean
They're,
to
no,
me
no.
has been that kind of thing.
I'm telling you, they're not, they don't do anything. They don't comment on anything.
No,
They
I
just
know.
look at my stories.
Oh, they look at your
They look at
stories.
my
Oh,
stories.
yeah. That's a
So
fence,
that's a
of
fake
course.
Instagram.
Oh my God, there's
So
so
how
many
do
of
you
them.
use this? I see you. Okay. I don't know who you are, but I see you.
That's the queen of the Finsta.
Queen of the Finsta.
And who
Anyways,
has the most time in the world for that stuff.
yeah.
So
Thanks for listening.
thanks for listening. Tune in next week and
Tune in next week. We're not going to talk about this all the time. I swear to God. I can't
only
do this.
But you know what? I would like, because again, I think maybe you have other questions that I haven't even addressed. So
Oh yeah.
definitely
Listen,
leave us comments. If you have any questions, we're always going to answer any question you have. We don't want to bore you with the same thing over and over again.
You know what we should do, since it's a new year and we probably have more listeners now, and by more listeners, I mean, I hope we have more listeners. We should do an AMA soon.
Yeah.
And maybe people will have questions about the episode
Yeah.
and you can answer them that way.
Yeah.
We'll do that next week. All right,
good.
guys. Follow us on Instagram at Mommy Issues Pod, at Beba_Rod, at Anna Cooks, QOKS. Follow us on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes. And leave a review.
And leave a fucking review. Okay, that's it. Bye, guys.
Bye.